Hi friends, today I'm going to show you how easy it is to grow arugula, organic, fresh arugula in your kitchen garden. I'm going to do a harvest and then I'm going to actually keep sowing it. So arugula is one of the most fantastic greens. It grows pretty much all the time. I mean, there are some periods if it's like frozen outside, it might not grow. But living and growing in a lot of different climates, arugula is just one of those superstars in the kitchen garden that just seems to keep producing. So my first year in Houston, when I was running my company Rooted Garden, I set up a couple of gardens in May. And if you know anything about Houston, it is a super warm, hot climate. It's like zone 9B. So we're entering into the summer, which is the hot season there. And I had these new gardens for my clients and I really wanted them to get to taste fresh greens as part of their kitchen garden experience. So just as an experiment, I took arugula seed and I planted it beneath their trellises in their kitchen gardens. So they might have Armenian cucumbers or eggplants or okra growing up high. And then I planted arugula seed below. That summer, those first sets of clients, they had a ton of arugula growing. And guys, it's like 95 plus in the summer there in Houston. So that proved to me that arugula can grow in the heat of the summer. And then I've lived here in the Chicago area where it gets super cold, right? And I found through the winters, I come out and plant arugula seed as early as February. And by late March, I'm harvesting arugula. It's like one of the first things I get to harvest in the cool season. So those two experiences have shown me that this is one of the most fail-proof things to grow. Super easy to plant from seed and you get a ton from every little plant. So let me show you what I mean today. Sound good? All right, so this is arugula. This one's called Rocket. Arugula vesicaria is what the special name is. Arugula is a really neat exception. So it's in the brassica family. Brassicas include kale, broccoli, cauliflower, mustards. If you think of those plants, you're thinking like a big plant, right? Like think of a broccoli. It's like, whoa, needs like a whole square foot in the garden. Arugula is in the same family, but it's actually a much smaller plant. Now, if you let it go to full maturity, it will get bigger, but its growth habit is quite different than the other plants in its family. So it's like the weird cousin. You know what I'm saying? Every plant family has one. So arugula is it for the brassicas. I suppose radishes are as well. So, but the seeds look very similar to kale seeds, and you'll see what I mean. They're tiny little things, right? So don't mind my dirty, wrinkly hands. So these are so tiny, just like the other brassica seeds, very similar. And you plant them really on the top of the soil. So before I harvest, I'm gonna go ahead and show you how I'm gonna plant these. So arugula, like I said, will grow through the summer. So my goal is to have arugula in this bed all season long, like spring, summer, and fall. So I have these growing, but I had a rabbit jump on here the other day, and she's trying to put a nest in my bed. And anyway, she kind of dug up the seedlings that were already growing here. So I'm going to replant them right here. And there's a ton of different ways to plant arugula seed, but I'm going to show you the simplest. So I'm literally just going to take a little bunch in my fingers, and I'm just going to kind of rub my fingers together, and I'm just literally dropping them into the garden soil. And that is it. So I'm going to kind of rough it up with my hands. You really don't want to bury arugula seed too deep, but you just want to make sure it makes soil contact. So I kind of shake it up, do that, and then water in. And arugula seeds emerge very quickly. So they say 10 to 15 days on here, but my experience has been it's more like six to 10 days. So we'll see what happens with these seeds. All right, so you can keep planting arugula, I would say every 2 weeks in the kitchen garden. You can start really way before your last frost date, as long as the soil is workable. And then they're gonna tell you, not to grow necessarily when it's hot. This one says 2 to 4 weeks before your average last frost date, and then successive sow every 3 weeks until 4 to 6 weeks before your average first fall frost date. Actually, so they agree with me. They're basically saying grow them all year long. So start before frost and then go all the way till right before your first frost. So so basically I could do it here from early March, all the way till like late November. or that's going past what they say, but that's been in my experience, especially if you have a cover. Okay, so now that you know they're so awesome to grow, so easy, let's harvest some, okay? So I grew these pretty generously. They are not spaced according to like if I wanted each of these plants to grow to full maturity. So it does take a little bit of thought to just come in here and harvest. So I just go in. I love using these needle nose pruners because they allow me just to cut one stem at a time if I want to do that. And I'm just going to come in and cut right at the base. So these leaves won't regrow here, like that stem will not produce a new leaf. So I just kind of come in and cut like that. Now that's what you do if you're wanting to be super careful and you don't want to take too much from any one plant. That's one option. So I'm going to do a few more like that. I'm going to show you how fast I could make like a little salad for myself just from these little plants. So when I first started salad gardening, I was getting so much production, and I had kind of overseeded just like this in my first garden. And I had a friend, Allison, who's helped me so much in the garden. She's the one who gave me seeds for lettuces, so I have her to thank. And I texted her. Actually, I don't think I texted her. I didn't even have like a smartphone at that point. So I emailed her or called her, and I was like, how do you harvest these? And so we talked about doing one at a time. And then she said, we both are parents, mothers of lots of girls. And she said, or you can just kind of do it like a ponytail and cut it all at once. And I was like, what? Are you serious? So if you get tired of this or it feels like it's taking too long, generally when the plants are just starting out, I'll harvest this way. That preserves these younger leaves, to make sure that the plant has enough leaves to keep photosynthesizing, but it keeps it from growing these really large leaves. So this is kind of the more time-intensive method, but let me show you the ponytail way. So we've got these plants over here. So basically, if I'm going to do it like a ponytail, I'm just going to grab the plants like this, and I'm not going to cut all the way down to the base, but I'm literally just going to cut them all at once like that. Boom, super fast. And then in these plants, I've kind of given some more air flow for these plants. And you can see the baby leaves that are coming from the center of these plants are still there. So I can, harvest. So I'll come in, cut, and then let that have better airflow. And then those baby leaves will have a chance to grow. If you've ever watched like a commercial salad farmer, they usually have these little spinny things that run over all the greens, and they cut it based like this, like they mow it down almost. So I love to get as many harvests from each plant as possible. And I found sometimes if I do this too extreme, especially if I cut too deep on the plant, then I won't get back the growth that I was hoping for. But generally, if I leave, say, 1 to 2 inches left on the greens, that's usually enough to keep the plant growing and producing. So this is just from a little bitty space, guys. So here is probably less than 1 square foot, and then this is probably less than 1 square foot. So maybe in total, this is 1 square foot of arugula. And just from my very first harvest, about 4 to 6 weeks after planting from seed, I have plenty to make arugula wrap, arugula salad, arugula pizza, anything arugula pesto. And as you can see, there's plenty more to go around. So I could probably do this again and again. I've got 2 beds planted similarly. So I could probably harvest these arugulas, like one harvest from one area once a week. So I could be like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So Sunday might be the only day I can't get arugula from these 2 beds. Pretty dang awesome, right? I think so. So I hope that you will try growing arugula this year in your kitchen garden. Take it from me, we grow it in the summer in Houston, we grow it in the winter in Chicago, and you can grow it anywhere in between. So check it out, try it. And if you have questions about growing arugula, please put them down in the comments below. Now, If you're saying, well, Nicole, I'd love to grow arugula, but I don't even have a garden set up yet. I don't have a raised bed set up. And what about the soil and the watering and all that stuff? Well, we've got more details all about growing your own salad garden, and you can find that down below. In fact, I have an entire course called Salad Garden School, and you can sign up and start growing with me right away. So check out the details down below this video, and let's start growing some more arugula. Sound good? I think so. All right, taste test time. Uh-oh. It's good. That's real good. It's not peppery. You know how sometimes you'll get that arugula and it's just too like, whoa. It's not like that. Just right. Just right. Yes, just right. All right, thanks for watching. I'll see you in your arugula next time.